Hi there, Ms. Lambs here. In this video, we are going to tackle Criteria B, Knowledge and Understanding. So let's get started. So this is a screenshot of the score band for Criteria B. I've highlighted a few things that I find it quite important. So you can pause this video and have a good look at it. So next one. And then this one is the Unpack Criteria B. So this is just a brief idea of what examiner is looking for. So I've also highlighted some of the few key things that I think is important. Again, you can pause this video and read this through. So this is a summary of what the previous two slides was talking about. So comparing to Criteria A, Criteria B looking at how your research apply to your RQ. Now, in the previous session, in session A, we are focusing on your method. So you have justify your method and things like that. So in Criteria B, we're looking at how your research is applicable to your research questions. So first of all, there are three things that you need to watch out for. One is the context. Again, you need to refer back to the context as to why you want to do this experiment. And the next part is related to, because it's a knowledge and understanding. So you also have the subject-specific terminology. So you need to use the terminology correctly. The last two parts is very important, and a lot of students overlooking is that avoid jargon. So because it's related to your research, okay, so sometimes when you do some external research, you will come across a few jargons, but or maybe some new terms. So make sure you understand what those new terms means. You make sure you understand what those research means, okay, how they work, before you apply using it in your essay, okay. And then also second point is avoid direct quoting without truly understand what it means from your research, external research. So a very common one is like students like to quote a values from the experiment, from the external research experiment, without really understanding how these numbers relate to the experiment. Okay, so do avoid direct quoting. So direct quoting of numbers or direct quoting of phrases. Okay, so maybe sometimes they want to say a statement and then they want some support and then they just directly copy from the external research. That is not how it should be done. Yes, you can do direct quoting, but make sure you understand it. So after you finish doing direct quoting, you need to refer what that passage is related to your experiment. So you need to use it basically. After you quote it, you need to use it. So and what we mean by use it means that apply to your experiment, okay? And the next one is the concept, okay, so the idea. So this one is useful when you have some mind map set up. So this will be more related to the critical thinking in part C, okay, in criteria C. So a concepts. So how do you come up with the ideas of the external studies, okay? So each external study will come with an idea, right? So then you think about those ideas and then presenting them and then see the relationship between them, and most importantly, how those ideas is applied to your experiment, okay? So it will be useful if you have a flow, okay, draft a mind map to help you to form these ideas, okay? So that's the concept. So this is from the examiner feedback related to criteria B on knowledge and understanding. So in this criteria, it's focusing on two main strands, and they are weighted equally, okay? So one is the knowledge, another one is understanding. So how do we present knowledge? Is that first of all, you need to present references that is relevant to your experiment. And then also to show knowledge, you need to see how these external studies are linked with your current experiment, okay? So are they supporting your current experiment, or are they going against the current experiment? If so, why, and so on. And then to show understanding, first of all, you need to use the terminology correctly. So do avoid jargons, okay? Do avoid some terms that you are not sure. If you're not sure, you can always approach to your supervisor and talk about them. Okay, and the next one is how does the idea develop from data of the published work? So after you finish reading those external studies, you need to understand what the experiments is about and how do they, based on their experiment data, how do they arise with their ideas, and then based on those ideas, how does those ideas apply to your work? Okay, so that's why they say that quoting the data or just have direct quotation wording or phrases is not enough. Okay, you need to refer back to it. The link of published work to your experiment is more important, so that's the key idea. Okay, next part. Okay, so this is, so if you have seen criteria A, you should have already downloaded the full PDF already. I will still put the link in this video's description below. So let's talk about it. So criteria B, knowledge and understanding. So it's actually only this part only, so I might as well go through it here. Okay, so they were looking at context, subject specific terminology and concepts. Okay, so first of all, they were talking about that experiment work is not essential, but we'll strongly advise students to do that, because later on when we do the analysis and things like that, your experimental work will help to support those. Okay, so first of all, they were mentioning that the material that you use must be relevant, okay, and appropriate to the research question, and also you should acknowledge the scientific resources. Okay, so referencing properly is very important. Okay, yeah, if you do some quotations, make sure you understand how you use it. And terminology, okay, avoid the use of jargon. We've just mentioned already. Technical terms, some technical terms you do need to explain them, so you don't assume the reader understand them. Okay, but when you explain them, of course you don't spend too much time on it. Okay, that is shift the focus. Okay, so again, you need to go back to the idea of what your experiment is about. Yeah, and then other things that you need to standardize, like symbols, equations, significant figure, and SI unit. Okay, things like that. Okay, and then in addition to the guidance from Ms. Rawat, I really appreciate her help. I will also want to show some of the exam report. Okay, from the closest that the latest that I have is May 2018. Okay, so they don't renew every year. So this is the latest that I have when I make this video. So another thing about criteria B, so knowledge. Okay, so actually I've also summarized those. So how do we present our idea of knowledge is to show how you use those resources, the link to that to your experiment, good use of command of terminology, and then weakness. The weakness in among students is that they a lot do in-text referencing but not really applying it. Okay, so neglect the reference idea. Okay, so that's the problem. Okay, and so the key idea is how do the data or idea from the data, okay, relate to the published work. So how is the relation between your external references with your experiment? Okay, and direct quotation does not really indicate real understanding, so we need to try to avoid them. Yes, you can quote it, but after you quote it, you need to refer to it. Okay, so that's the idea, right? Okay, so I think that's about it. I hope this video helps you and guides you along the way in criteria B in IB Biology EE. So add oil and good luck. Thank you and bye bye.